Hey there, Susan C. here, and I am back because I got a fabulous email in response to a video I recently did for you about what I didn't do, my don't do list. You remember that video? If you haven't, go check it out. It's all about us creating a don't do list. And I really talked about where I am now and the things that I don't do in order to be able to be a speaker, an author, and a writer who travels around and who now goes out and supports moms. And I talked about the things that I don't do in order to be able to be available to do that. But a mom asked me, that's awesome that you're sharing about where you are today, but could you share about when you had a household full of little ones? How did you manage it all then? And so I thought, what a great question, because it's a great question because at some point I had to get stuff done, and I had 7 children who all needed my support. I didn't have those who were driving and had driver's license and who could run washing machines and dishwashers and all those different things. So how did we get it done? So I have made a list, and I even had my husband contribute to this list because he always has such brilliant ideas to share with you all. So this list is between the two of us, but I'm just going to run through it because it's quite a list. And if you keep seeing me look down, I'm just looking down at my notes here. So one of the things that we did anytime we were expecting a baby is, as we got towards the end of the pregnancy, I always announced goodbye to the world. I would tell everybody, when the baby is born, you will not see me, you will not hear from me, I will not be present for a while. Know that I love you, I care for you, and I'm thinking about you, but I do need to bond with this new little one, and our family needs time to establish a new routine. So if I am currently in charge of any organizations or leading anything, I withdraw from my position. I step down and make sure that there's someone else to fill my place. I make sure that people know not to look for me. They know that I won't be there because it's just not something that I can fulfill at this time. So I say goodbye to all of those things, and I limit any expectations of people seeing me. Another thing that I did when I had all little ones is I only shopped at one store. I shopped at one grocery store. You did not see me at discount stores. You did not see me at extra health food store trips. You didn't see all these different things. When I loaded up my crew, and I always took my people with me to go shopping, we went to one store and one store only. And I made sure that I timed that at a time when they were fully fed and rested. So usually we would get up in the morning, and I would check to make sure that everybody's good and had a decent night's sleep, including myself. And then I would make sure that they were fed and cleaned up and all diapers changed and baby fed. And then we would go to the store, and I knew I had a window of time to get this thing done. And then we needed to get it out of the store and make a quick exit while we could still do it gracefully and beautifully. And that were there times when we busted it? You bet. Were there times when I got distracted and got to daydreaming about things I could make with some new product I found on the shelf and started wandering around because I was just happy to be out? And I especially remember getting caught in the magazine book section of the grocery store. It became a trap for me, and I would get in there and get to browsing the books, and then I'd realize, oh man, I stayed too long. They're starting to get fussy and antsy, and I still haven't finished my list, and that meant that they would just start getting cranky, and I missed it and I busted it. So I did the best that I could with that, but I would shop at only one store. It was a way to keep things simple and not have to run all over town, 5 different stores, getting people in and out of car seats and in and out of strollers and diaper changes and having to nurse the baby while I'm out. It just became all too much. So I kept it simple in that way. One thing I didn't do, I almost hate to admit this, but I didn't do much shopping for myself. My wardrobe was as simple as it could get. It was, if I liked a t-shirt and that t-shirt fit well, I bought that t-shirt in blue, black, white, red, yellow, whatever they had. I bought all 5 or 6 of them, and you would see me in practically the same shirt. I kept my wardrobe really simple. I didn't shop a lot for myself. I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing, but it also was not time that I was spending out trying to keep my wardrobe up and trying to keep myself looking good. I just kept the basics. I kept a string of t-shirts and like a string of I tend to like elastic waist bottoms. I know people wear a lot of yoga pants now. I don't remember yoga pants so much, but they were like comfy, just like a yoga pant. So Yes, I kept it simple. That was my mama wardrobe. Was it beautiful and glamorous? No. Was it practical? You bet. Because if they spit up on that and spilled lunch on it, I didn't freak out that I'd spend a lot of money on it. I just was like, oh, well, I mean, it's another t-shirt. I'll go get another t-shirt. It was just the season of life that I was in at the time. Mamas, if that's you right there, like, it won't last always. And know that your beauty is not determined by that shirt and those yoga pants and that ponytail that you got on your head. I'm here to tell you, you are beautiful. And to your children, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. Embrace that because it's true. All right. Another thing. I did not do life alone. I had key friends that I knew that I could jump on the phone with and we could talk. And we could talk and they could handle that somebody was crying in the background, or they could handle that I might be distracted for a moment in the conversation. And it was okay. And we just did that and we worked it out. And likewise, I knew I might call them and they'd be like, girl, it's just not a good time. And I wasn't offended and like, oh, every time I call, you're never available. No, we were in the same season of life and we got each other's lives and we talked when we could. And when we could, it was always good and perfect for both of us. So I had key people in my life. And there were seasons where we could do face-to-face and we could get together and let the kids play and have a good time. But if it wasn't a good season for that, we would just be on the phone and we were okay with that. Another thing that I didn't do on my don't do list when my babies were all young is I didn't fight the season of life we were in financially. Like, we worked hard to ensure that I could stay home with the kids because that was a goal for our family. That meant we were living on one income. But I didn't spend a lot of time feeling sad or down or sorry for myself because we didn't have enough money to do things that I wanted to do, or we didn't have money to buy the things that I wanted to buy. I was just real about it. Like, we don't have the funds for that right now. And that's okay. Like, I've actually written about this before, but that powerful word yet, right? We cannot afford to buy that yet. Really takes a lot of the pressure off of that. We're not going on Disney vacations yet. Maybe one day we will, right? Like, whatever it is for you that you might feel angst about that you cannot afford or cannot do right now, be willing to just add the word yet on it, and it relieves a lot of pressure and strain. And it takes away a lot of those energy zappers of worry and anxiety and pressure and discontentment. It takes those things away. And it says to yourself, one day that's possible. It's just not today. And that's okay. During that season of limited income, we even did a time where we were in one car. And my husband would take the car to work and I'd be at home and we didn't have a car. Let me tell you, that simplified life for me. Because I could a lot of times just say, oh, well, we can't do it because we don't have a way to get there. But I also got to be really clear on the things I really wanted to do. And I would make sure that I would arrange to get the car and make sure we could take him to work and keep the car and have it in time and get back to pick him up after work, because it really meant something to me. So it became a filter for me. Do I really want to go to that, or would I just go if I had a car? So having one car was a great thing. So if you're in that season of life, know that it can be a great filter for you to be very intentional about how you spend your time. Another thing I didn't do, I didn't jump up to answer the phone or the doorbell. Neither one of those rings or dings were things that I absolutely had to do just because the phone was ringing, I got to go answer it. Or because somebody's at the door, I got to go answer the door. I was clear about the fact that I would go and answer the phone or answer the door if it was a good time for me to deal with whoever's calling upon us. But if it wasn't a good time, I let it go. That's what voicemail is for. If you're at the door and I didn't know you were coming, feel free to leave a note. If you know me well enough, then you'll be able to call me inside and be like, girl, I'm at the door. Come open the door up. And I'd be like, I didn't know it was you. Okay, here, let me come to the door. But sometimes our children can be in the midst of the sweetest little story or the sweetest share or the sweetest moment of cuddling and the phone rings and we jump up and go run to answer the phone. Why? And now that we're at the season of text messages and email notifications and things that are coming through on our phones, we could be constantly distracted with looking over to see what's going on and pulled out of a beautiful moment called life. Don't miss life because those bells and those chimes are going off. And so it was on my don't do list. Like, I don't jump up and just answer the phone. I don't just jump up and answer the door. Another thing I didn't do was a lot of fancy meals. Our meals were simple because it helped me keep my sanity. So we would do taco nights on Tuesdays, or pizza nights on Fridays, or whatever we could do to keep it simple so that I was able to function. And then eventually we moved to the time where, as they got older, I was able to do 30 days at a time, where I could say this week's meals are planned, and I had 4 weeks worth of meals planned. And then every month, week 1, I knew what meals we were going to do. And then week 5, I would use that as a time for either leftovers or pulling stuff out of the freezer. Or if I wanted to try something new, I could do that then. But I kept things simple as much as I could, kept my meal plans as simple as possible. Another thing we didn't do a lot of individual activities for each child. I didn't have this one in ballet, and this one in soccer, and this one over here doing gymnastics, and this one over here doing violin, and this one in piano. We did not do that. We did either everybody was in an activity, or we did a season of no activities. And I'm okay with both of those. Let me tell you about that. So if we decided that, hey, we really want the kids to be able to be on a team sport, we did t-ball for a season. We were able to do a community league. Everybody was able to be on a team according to their age group. Their practice times were very similar to one another, and the games were all the same day. Bam, winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, simple. We did the same when we wanted them to learn some self-defense and some confidence, and we had them in karate. Everybody was in the same karate class. They were just in the class according to their age, the age-appropriate class, but they were all on the same night of the week. Everybody went at the same time. Within an hour and a half, everybody was done, and we were back out the door. Everybody had an activity, but everybody was in karate. We didn't have just one in karate. Everybody did karate. Everybody did t-ball. That's the way we did it until they got older and they really showed a deep interest and commitment to a certain thing. Then we started to have conversations about individual sports. But that was not until our children were much older. When they were little, we did not do individual activities. We did not do a lot of going out to eat, and we did not do vacations. We did not do expensive birthday parties. We did not do expensive gatherings with friends. Our birthday parties were home parties. And my husband and I, we didn't do a lot of date nights or babysitters or anything like that. Well, we did a lot of intentional times around keeping our marriage strong, but it was usually around things in the home. Maybe we put the kids to bed early, or we'd put on a movie for the kids and we'd have a movie for ourselves in our room. We would do all kinds of things to be creative about how we could do our time, but we didn't spend a whole lot of money on babysitters and fancy dining during that season when we had a lot of little ones. And I tried to run through that list as quick as I could so that I could value your time. But I hope that maybe something on there inspires you, or that sparks a conversation for you to have in your family about how you could be really intentional about how you want to spend your time together, and creating a don't do list for you when you have little ones and you're in that season of a time when they really need a lot of you. And giving yourself permission to not do some things so that you're fully available to love on them and serve them and be present with them, so that you don't look back with regrets, wishing that you were more present at the time. I hope this video supports you in doing that. If I can do more, please stay tuned. Feel free to email me and reach out to me, because it's your responses that help me to create these videos. Until next time, bye for now.